Hi, welcome back, and today we are tier ranking all of season 20 of Classic Who from 1983. 20 years! Congrats, Doctor Who! It does mean we have an anniversary special in this season, and I have many thoughts on that one. I love that one. First up, however, is the first episode, Arc of Infinity. This one got a 4 overall. I thought it was a pretty decent start to the season, pretty decent serial. I don't like the Omega redesign, but I do understand the need for it, considering they were trying to keep Omega a surprise twist, but I don't really like the design. And I have to say, those bad Time Lords are at it again. I mean, they're hacking the Doctor's biodata, they're killing people, they're killing other Time Lords, they're kidnapping humans. Terrible. Speaking of the Doctor's biodata, his digital ID got hacked, and Gallifrey's supposedly got a very secure system. Just saying. So I'm still fuzzy though on why the Time Lords felt a need to execute the Doctor to stop Omega from doing his thing. Not that they knew it was Omega at the time. I don't understand why they felt the need to do that anyway. I'm sure it was explained. I must have missed it. To be fair, I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who recently, so, you know, forgive me for missing a few things. What I didn't miss, though, was a Leela mention. But why was she not in the episode? Leela lives on Gallifrey now. Why was she not in the episode? Give me my Leela! Like, seriously, there's a point where Nyssa is holding a gun. She's shooting Time Lords, holding a gun at the High Council saying, no, let the Doctor go. Had Leela have been there, it would have been an even better scene. Just saying. Leela would not have backed the fuck down. Nyssa did have to at the end. Leela would not have. No way. Nah. At the end of the last season, Tegan seemed to have left the TARDIS by being ditched at Heathrow by the Doctor. And in this season, she's back straight away, which I suppose at the time, if you didn't know that she wasn't coming back, it would have been a nice surprise to see her again immediately after. I thought it was a nice surprise as well, because obviously the first time I watched this, I wouldn't have known that that wasn't her leaving. And Tegan, once again, is showing just what a brave bitch she is. When she's stuck in the Matrix with Omega controlling her, she fights through everything and tells the Doctor as much information as she can, despite Omega saying, no, I'm going to kill you if you tell him anything. She does her thing and tells him what she can, tries to get as much information to him. She believes in him and trusts that he's going to go and save her and her cousin's friend. Speaking of her cousin, actually, Omega is a pretty reasonable guy, really, all things considered, because he does say, as a show of his appreciation to Tegan for being such a good hostage, he gives the cousin back. He says, here, you can have your cousin back. So, you know, decent guy. And again, such a tragic villain. So this is the 20th season of Doctor Who, as I've said, and they were bringing back classic villains for an anniversary special season sort of thing. And so Omega, the Mara, and the Black Guardian were all brought back in this season to celebrate 20 years of Doctor Who. And Omega, as I said before when he was in it, he's such a tragic villain, and I think this serial makes it even worse because he's not even saying that he should be a god and all of this in this one. He's just trying to live. The man just wants to go and see a puppet show, for fuck's sake. That poor timey-wimey man. And the Doctor seriously asks him in the serial while he is disintegrating or something, the Doctor seriously asks him, why couldn't you have been content to live as you were? Oh, I don't know, Doctor. Maybe because he was just consciousness alone and his existence was torture? Dickhead. Anyway, overall I thought it was a decent serial, and I'm going to put it into upgrade in progress. Yeah, I thought it was a decent serial, fun. Colin Baker was in the serial, though not as the 6th Doctor, but he was in the serial as actually a really mean Time Lord called Maxwell, but, you know. Yeah, overall it was a nice serial. And the MVP for the serial is Damon. Next up is Snake Dance. So as I've said, the Mara was brought back as a classic villain, even though they were only just in the last season for the first time. And if you've seen my video on the last season, you'll know I didn't really enjoy Kinder very much, and neither did I enjoy Snake Dance. It got a 2 again. I just didn't like it much. There's no issues that I have that I can vocalise, because I don't think it's bad. If there was an issue that I thought it was bad, I would say that, but I don't think it's bad. I just didn't enjoy it myself. There were a couple things I noted down as good points. Also, one random thing is that this is the second serial in a row that's featured a Punch and Judy type puppet show, which I just thought was funny. So Tegan once again gets possessed by the Mara. She tries to get rid of it by going into the Hall of Mirrors, because she remembered that in Kinder she watched as the Doctor got rid of the Mara with a ring of mirrors. Unfortunately it didn't work, but I just like the fact that she remembered that and was like, okay, let's just do that. There's a Hall of Mirrors there, I'll just get rid of it. So it was a good plan, even though it didn't work. I also like how the Mara was created. In this serial, we get a reason for the Mara being created in the first place, with people's hatred and fears sort of creating the Mara. I think through the power of a gemstone or something, but it was created by people and not intentionally or consciously. But I do think that that was quite interesting as well, and it explains why the Mara is evil as a character, because it was created through hatred and fear. But yeah, overall, it was okay, just I didn't enjoy it. So I'm going to put it in wibbly wobbly. Because again, I don't have anything wrong with it. I don't see anything bad about it per se. I just didn't personally enjoy it. So wibbly wobbly. And the MVP is Madame Zara. Next up is Mordred Undead. Okay, so this is the start of the Black Guardian trilogy, and if you've seen the previous tier list regarding the Black Guardian, I don't like the Black Guardian or the Guardians in general. And also, this is the serial that introduces my other most hated companion, Turlo. I fucking hate Turlo. So I'm going to try and speed through these 3 serials. It was nice to see the Brigadier again. Nyssa and Tegan were really stupid for thinking that the burned man they found was the Doctor. I don't understand what made them think that this man wearing scraps was the Doctor. I feel really bad for Mordred and his people that they live in that state that they do. I get they stole something from Time Lords and they caused their own destruction, but I still feel really bad for them. And I like the fact that Nyssa is shown to show severe empathy towards their situation and asking the Doctor, isn't there anything we can do? And even later on in the TARDIS, she even says again how sad it is about those people and how they can't help them. Another positive is the set. I really think that the spaceship looked really good. I really liked the set for the spaceship. I thought it was really interesting design and I liked that. And the disease makeup that Nyssa and Tegan had. Brilliant makeup on them. I thought that looked really, really good. The spaghetti brains on the Mordred guy though, not so much. Also, I like the scene with Turlo and who he thought was his teacher and actually turned out to be the Black Guardian in disguise, where he was trying to confide in him about his situation and try and get him to help him figure out how to get out of it so that he didn't have to kill the Doctor. So that was quite good. I like that scene. And finally, I really like the look that Nyssa and Tegan gave each other right at the end when Turlo asked the Doctor if he could join them in the TARDIS, and the Doctor said yes. And Nyssa and Tegan were like, are you serious? I like that. Even Nyssa and Tegan don't like Turlo. So yeah, overall, I think I'm going to put this into upgrade in progress again. It was okay. It was good enough. There was enough in there that I enjoyed. So I'm going to put an upgrade in progress. And the MVP, of course, is the Brigadier. Both versions. Next up is Terminus. So Terminus got a 3 overall and is the second of the Black Guardian trilogy episodes. And it's also the episode where Nyssa leaves, which is quite sad, but I do like her ending. I like the fact that she was shown to be doing science stuff in the TARDIS earlier on, and then at the end she realises that the people on this Terminus ship need help and aren't getting that help, and she can provide it. And so she's willing to risk her life, risk never being anywhere other than that horrific spaceship ever again, and staying there to save them. So I do like her leaving. I think Nyssa gets a really noble and heroic end to her time on the TARDIS. Tegan and Turlo though, I don't really see the need for them in this serial, because we introduced 2 space pirates who are allies in this serial against the villains, so I don't really see the need for Tegan and Turlo to be there. They just sort of were around, but they weren't doing much. I also hate Turlo, so yeah. Also, the dog thing, the dog man thing, I really like the look of that. I know it looks horrendous by today's standards, but I just really like it. I mean, come on. He's adorable, come on. But overall, I think I'm going to put this one into... I think I'm going to put it into upgrade in progress again. Because it did get a 3, sure, but story-wise, I actually think it was quite good. I just think it should have been condensed down, maybe get rid of some characters. Nyssa was sidelined in Kinder before, so they could have just sidelined either Tegan or Turlo in this one and had them stuck in the TARDIS. I don't see a problem with that. But yeah, I just think story-wise it was quite good, and you felt quite a lot of empathy for the diseased people in the episode as well, and that helped with being reasonably happy about Nyssa's departure with how she stays to help them. But yeah, it's an upgrade in progress, that one. And the MVP of the serial is Olva. Next up is Enlightenment. Now this is the finale of the Black Guardian trilogy, thank goodness, but not the finale of Turlo, damn it. And this serial got a 5 overall. I know, I'm surprised. It's a Black Guardian episode and it got a 5, but it did. I really enjoyed it. I think Enlightenment is a popular one among fans anyway, but I really like this one. And this is the first serial in Doctor Who history to be written by a woman. It was also directed by a woman, so it's also the first serial to be both written and directed by a woman. I think the first serial to be directed by a woman was the William Hartnell one ages ago, but this is the first serial to be both written and directed by a woman, and the first serial to be written in general by a woman. And you know what? She did a brilliant job. Both of the women did a brilliant job there. I just have to say that even the Doctor does not trust Turlough, okay? He trusts Tegan implicitly and has done since the day he met her, bizarrely. But Adric and Turlough, my two most hated companions, he doesn't trust them. He never did, okay? I quite like that. Regarding the villain, Captain Rack, I just think she's fantastic. I think she's a really good villain for the serial. And I like the fact that you don't really know that she's the villain until later on, and you think that these other guys are the villains. And technically, all the Eternals are villains in the serial, but the real villain of the serial is Captain Rack, and I think she's brilliant, all round a brilliant villain. Mariner is the perfect amount of creepy for the story. He is such a creep. It kind of becomes endearing later on when it does sound like, even Tegan said, hold on a minute, are you trying to tell me you're in love with me? It did sort of change from creepy to endearing later on, but he was the perfect amount of creepy for the story. Like, it made you on edge every time he was around, especially when he was around Tegan. But honestly, I hate to say it, but I would not have minded if, had Tegan's story ended in this serial, I would not have minded if she had have had a little love story with Mariner. I mean, obviously, if he wasn't such a creep in the beginning. She could have had anything she wanted from him because he's an Eternal. He can just do whatever she wants. But he really liked her for her mind. The fact that her mind was so different, and I just really like the idea of that pairing. There's loads of crappy love stories in Classic Who, but that one I think would have been quite nice. Can't deny it. The sets used in this one, again, stunning. I really loved the sets for this one. It was beautiful. And the costumes. The BBC period drama costume department at it again. Tegan's outfit for the party, just bloody glorious. And Mariner's costume looked lovely for that as well. Everyone in that party was just gorgeous. Brilliant. Loved it. Always props to the costume department of the BBC. Cannot deny that one. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good story. A nice end to the Black Guardian arc. It was weird that Turlough kind of set the Black Guardian on fire and it seemed like he was dead. But then the White Guardian's like, no, as long as I'm alive, he's alive too. Burn the White Guardian too. Kill them all. I just don't like the Guardians, I'm sorry. I'm glad they never show up again, as far as I can remember. But yeah, I'm going to put this one into fantastic. I don't think it's quite ooey for me, but I'm putting it in fantastic. It was a really good serial, really good time, great story, good mystery, great villain, costumes and sets, beautiful. I don't really have any faults with it, so it's going to go into fantastic. And the MVP for the serial is Jackson. Next up is The King's Demons. So this is just a small two-parter at the end of the season, and it got a 5 from me. I really enjoyed this one the first time I watched it, and I really enjoyed it this second time as well. I really loved the historical vibe of the episode. I loved the Master in disguise. They did a little reveal bit where it sort of kept flipping between Sir Giles Estram and the Master, and I'm like, guys, you didn't really need to do that. He didn't even change his voice. You can see that it's him. But I do like the Master disguise, I like the sword fight, I like everything else. It was Chameleon's first appearance as well, which originally when I watched this the first time I was quite excited about. Not second time around. Nah, don't really like Chameleon much. But I think his use in this story was really good. I think it was really well done in this serial. The Iron Maiden being the Master's TARDIS, wonderful. I mean, we knew that he wasn't actually going to get shoved into an Iron Maiden in a children's show, but it was a good twist nonetheless. I have to say, Tegan wraps herself up in blankets for basically the whole serial. The whole time she's in the castle, she's wrapped up in blankets. It's very me. I am constantly wrapping myself up in blankets. If I'm sitting there reading a book, if I'm sitting there watching TV, if I'm in bed asleep, I am wrapped up in fluffy blankets. Like, I feel it. Tegan is me and I am Tegan. I have to give credit where it's due to Turlough, as much as I hate the guy. He went up against the Master toe to toe and even called him whoever you are, which I cannot believe the Master would be happy about in any shape or form. He goes up against the Master with a sword, bashes his pride and then fucks off. Gotta hand it to Turlough on this occasion, he did alright. Tegan also, again, does brilliantly. She flies the TARDIS. And I really like that in Classic Who, the companions are seen to be flying the TARDIS and to know the TARDIS. It's implied that the Doctor taught them off screen or that they just figured it out. But Tegan in this one as well flies the TARDIS a bit, which I really like. And then they did that in Castrovalva as well. Tegan and Nyssa tried to fly the TARDIS and they got it a little bit wrong. But, you know, it shows that the companions in Classic Who are more than just there. They are more entwined with the Doctor and the TARDIS than in New Who. I can only really remember in Journey's End and one Donna episode where the Doctor has other people flying the TARDIS and teaches them how to use it. Oh, and then River. But that's it. The companions don't really have anything to do with flying the TARDIS in New Who at all. So I do like that in Classic Who, a lot of the companions are shown to know more about the TARDIS and be able to use more features and be able to actually fly it sometimes as well. The Master calls the Doctor "my dear Doctor" several times in this, and it's so cute. How can that man seriously claim to hate the Doctor when he calls him "my dear Doctor"? Come on now. Come on. Come on. And last thing I will say is the Doctor's little fake out at the end where he says to Tegan about taking her home and she's like, well, no, I want to stay. And the Doctor's trying to get her to admit that. And then he's like, oh, right, okay. And she's like, well, don't you need to change the coordinates? And he's like, oh, no, I already said it for this place. His little fake out at that was quite fun, but it is very manipulative. And that shows the manipulation of the Doctor. People keep saying the 7th Doctor's manipulative. No, the Doctor was always manipulative. He just used to smile more when he did it. But anyway, The King's Demons is going in fantastic. It's a great serial, absolutely love it. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. And the MVP is Sir Geoffrey de Lacy. Next up is The Five Doctors. Now this was the 20th anniversary special of Doctor Who, so congrats to Doctor Who for making it that far and for giving us an amazing special. Seriously, this is how you do an anniversary special. You've got 5 Doctors, even though one only appears in unused footage from Shudder. You've got 5 Doctors, you've got loads of companions from different eras, and also Susan and Sarah Jane came from after their time with the Doctor, so it's even better than just having them taken from their time with the Doctor anyway. You've got a compelling story, you've got Time Lord shenanigans, you've got Daleks, Cybermen, the Master, you've even got Yeti. There's so much packed into this and it's brilliant. It's so well done. I loved it and I thought it was written really well as well, having all the Doctors sort of being captured at different times and you follow them around as they're all trying to figure out what's going on. They each have a companion and other companions show up. You've got Liz and Yates show up in illusion form, even though Yates should have been Benton. Can't deny it, should have been Benton. You have Jamie and Zoe show up in illusion form, and you know I love my Jamie and Zoe. Although I don't love Zoe's dress. That should have been the giveaway to the Doctor that they were illusions in the first instance, because Zoe was wearing a dress literally made of bubble wrap. Now that girl had impeccable fashion sense, okay? There is no way she'd ever be caught dead in a bubble wrap dress. Just saying. I also like the fact that the cold open for the serial, which I think is the first cold open for Doctor Who, but that showed William Hartnell's first Doctor doing his little speech to Susan about how he'd come back. Again, he never did, but I like that that was a nice way of including William Hartnell in the story, because obviously by that time he'd passed, so he couldn't actually be in the story, so Richard Herndon took on the role of the first Doctor, and I think he did a fine job. I don't see any issue with his portrayal at all, but it was a nice way of including William Hartnell in the special as well. I don't know why the villain felt the need to collect all the companions as well as the Doctors, because Susan and Sarah Jane were collected solo. They weren't even with the Doctor when they were grabbed, so I don't know why they were grabbed and put in the death zone, but you know, I can overlook that because it's such a great story and a great episode, so I can overlook it. What I can't overlook though is the exclusion of Leela, my Queen Leela. She should have been in this episode. I'm pretty sure Louise Jameson said she was happy to do it and up for it, and they just couldn't fit her in. They could have used any moment of the 4th Doctor and Leela to have the big scary triangle come and take him. And then while the Doctor got stuck and couldn't get into the death zone and was stuck in that weird phasing thing, Leela could have got there, fought her way through on her own, found the other Doctors, and then helped all of them to do the thing. Leela would have been brilliant in that place. She would have thrived in the death zone, let's be honest. And she would have defeated that Raston Warrior robot like that. I do have a lot of thoughts on this story, but I'm trying not to say every tiny little thing that I think anymore because these videos will go on forever. But I just love it. I love seeing the old companions coming back. I love seeing the whole story, and it was just brilliant. The mystery was great. The way that all the Doctors were trying to solve it alongside each other, it was just, the whole thing was brilliant. Although I do want to know more about these Hunger Games that the Time Lords used to play in the Death Zone. We didn't really get much information on that. We just got the game of Rassilon, which is the thing about the ring that the Doctors are technically doing, and then the games. I don't know what these games are, but they sound like Hunger Games, that they had other creatures put into the Death Zone to play for their entertainment. I want to know more about this. Is it in that History of Time Lords book? Because if it is, I want to know. Only other thing I'll say is that it was weird seeing the Lord President Bruiser being the villain, considering in The Invasion of Time he was such an ally to the Doctor. So it's weird him suddenly being a villain here. But overall, I can't really fault this serial. It's a full 5 and it's going into OEU. I honestly loved everything about this one. Can't be denied. I really loved it. And I had a really good time watching it again. And the MVP for the serial is The Master. I was tempted to give it to the Brigadier again, just because there's a moment where the Master is threatening all the doctors and the Brigadier sneaks up behind him and goes, "Nice to see you again," and punches him and knocks him out with a single punch. And I just really like that. The Master gets knocked out really easy every time. But yeah, I have to give it to the Master because you know what? The man risked his life to go and save the Doctor. However unwillingly, he did it. He tried. He kept trying. He was rejected by every single Doctor that he came up against, but he tried, okay? He tried to help. So I'm giving MVP to the Master, and no one can tell me that I can't because he wasn't technically the villain in the serial. But that is it. That is my list, and it's more middle top heavy than usual for the 5th Doctor era, which is good. I did really enjoy the latter half of this season. The rest of it I think is fairly good, so considering this season brought back 2 villains that I don't really like at all, and one of them had a trilogy dedicated to them, and this season has fucking Turlo in it, I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Season stats. The most common score for the season was a 5, and the season average was a 3.61. See, this is why I do a modal and a mean score, because vastly different. The quote of the season comes from Enlightenment, and it's Mariner, the Doctor and Tegan all having a little chat. And Mariner says, "We have control over matter. Had you merely imagined it in space, I could have converted the image into reality without so much effort." Tegan says, "Then why didn't you?" And the Doctor says, "Because he didn't think of it. They're far more dependent on us than we are on them. Without us, they're empty nothings." Considering the power of the Eternals, I think that's a very important message for us all to remember. Without us, the people in power are nothing. So, just remember that. That is it. That is season 20 completely ranked and tier listed. Let me know your thoughts on the comments below. Have you seen the 5 Doctors? If not, why not? Did you like it? Because I absolutely loved it to bits. Let me know all your thoughts on everything down below, and I will see you next time for season 21.